Alright, y'all, this review is going to be fairly short and fairly sweet. And when I say short and sweet, I mean as good as it can be. Holy cannoli. Look at this. I have you guys, I'm going to get you zoomed appropriately here and focused appropriately because, I mean, I'm blind, but that was pretty terrible. George Washington. Okay, when we talk about George Washington, he did a couple of things for us. We're going to start off and we're going to talk about, well, obviously, first off, he was the first president. Because he was the first president, he set something that we call precedents. Oh, precedent. Yes, that's how you spell it. Okay, precedent. A precedent is like a tradition that is followed or a standard. It's a tradition or a standard. Some of the precedents that he set up for future presidents included a cabinet. Now, if you're one of my classes, I made the brilliant comparison of Harry Potter. So I'm going to draw a little Harry Potter. Here's his lightning bolt scar, and he's got glasses. It's a very blind person, which I totally relate to because I am too. And then his friend Ron, who has the red hair. Give him cool, like, his little hair. It's a boy, so it's fairly short hair, but it's shaggy because that's how his hair is. Hey, and Hermione, who has like the crazy frazzle hair. I just spent time doing that because it makes me happy. Whenever Harry has a problem, he talks to Ron and Hermione, right? And Ron's usually like, I don't know, mate, and Hermione's like, no, you can't, and it's very sad. And poor little Harry, he does what they say. He usually follows what they say because they're looking out for what's best for him. The president's cabinet is like that. They are his experts. They are the people who know the business. His Secretary of State deals with foreign matters. His Secretary of the Treasury, and this is our dear friend Mr. Smarmy. If you know who that is, pat yourself on the back because you're brilliant. Secretary of the Treasury deals with financial matters, which is all about the money, all about the money. Financial matters. And Secretary of War, he is going to deal with national defense. He also, ironically enough, he's the one who decides to be called Mr. President. But something else he's going to do that I think is kind of interesting is that he is the first president. Obviously, since he's the first president, he's also like unanimously voted because he's like #1 and everybody loves him and they just like heart him a lot. And so he's considered like #1. However, when he is asked to run for a third term, he decides to refuse, only serves 2 terms because he didn't want to seem like a king. Because remember, that's what they're all afraid of. They're terrified. He doesn't want to seem like a king. Now, before though we get into the end of his office, we're going to talk about something that's happened in his office. Namely, Hamilton's brilliant... Hamilton. Can you tell us about it's been here a while? Hamilton's financial plan. And with Hamilton's financial plan, it does like 4 things. 1, 2, 3, 4. First off, he wants to pay off debt, which, you know, good for him. It's a good idea. Pay off the debt. But here's how he's going to do it. He's going to create a national bank. But in doing this, it mixes all the debt, including the debt from the North and the South. We're going to get into that in a minute. The third thing he does is he puts up protective tariffs. And the fourth thing that he does is he's going to, he puts on the whiskey tax. Sometimes I could lose my mind at the end of the day. Whiskey tax. All right, and here is the big flaws with his plan. First off, the national debt. The South is going to have to pay more than their share. South pays more than their share. Remember, guys, we talked about buying that video game, and your brother tells you you're only going to have to pay $10, and he's going to pay the rest of it, and then he forgets to pay your mom back for a while, and so your mom finally gets mad and says, fine, he paid me 10, so now you're both just going to owe me $10 more, and you're going to have to pay out more than your share. If you forgot what that is, ask a friend, because they probably know. They probably remember it, because it was an excellent example. Protective tariffs promote, they help people buy American goods, and you need to know that they make American goods cheaper than foreign goods, but it hurts the South because it hurts trade. Because if we're putting tariffs on England's things, they're going to put tariffs on our things. It's very frustrating. The whiskey tax, which will eventually lead to the Whiskey Rebellion, which is a whole other bag of worms. The whiskey tax is going to upset the colonists or upset the southern states, because they don't deal in money. They primarily trade. They don't have cash. And the South makes whiskey. The North doesn't really. And so if they don't really make tax, this whole thing seems very pointed at this clearly, honestly, like who's getting the best deal here. I feel like it is clearly the North is like banking in this plan. So, okay, so Jefferson doesn't like that the South is having to pay off more than their debt. The reason, now I want you to think for a minute, why, we're going to go back to here, I removed that page, but I'm going to go back to it. When we're looking at the debt, think about why is the North debt so much higher? Think about those battles of the American Revolution. Saratoga, Lexington and Concord, Trenton and Princeton. All of those took place in what states, what region? If you said northern, you were correct. They take place in northern states. And because of that, they are in a greater debt. Now, before we're going to send Washington out of office, something happens. Something that's really going to kind of make his presidency. The Whiskey Rebellion. Farmers rebel. Farmers have its way of rebellion. Way of rebelling. Holy moly, what is with my voice today? I say voice, I mean what is with my brain processing words, because it's a problem. The Whiskey Rebellion sets it up to where the farmers are rebelling, they're really mad, and Washington says, okay, you guys can't be crazies. You are not allowed to act like crazies. Basically, he tells farmers, you can't act crazy. You can't act crazy and rebel. If you're going to rebel and you're really mad about something, if you are mad, deal with the issue peacefully. Okay, and what this does, y'all, because this ends up, he squashes the rebellion, he sends in federal troops, and everyone runs away, and it's very scary. Shows the strength of the Constitution. I'm just going to write const, because that's what I kind of feel like today. You also need to make sure you study his farewell address. Study farewell address. You have notes about that. You need to understand that pretty well. Yay! Okay, study the farewell address, and happy studying. Signing off. Don't you love my beautiful voice?